You're listening to Don't Miss This on Paris Underground Radio.
For more great content, including bonus videos of events in and around Paris, please join us on Patreon. Hello, and welcome to Don't Miss This, your weekly roundup of the best of what's happening in Paris this week. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity, the creator and founder of the Paris Underground Radio podcast network, featuring podcasts on a wide range of topics that come out 6 days a week and are made for people just like you. For special events, bonus videos, a book club, and more, please join us on Patreon. I hope you all had wonderful 14th of July. Did you get to see the Paris fireworks? They were the best I've seen since I've been here. This week's edition of Don't Miss This covers the week of Sunday, July 17th through Saturday, July 23rd, 2022. Have you ever taken the Tuileries tunnel, the tunnel that runs between the Tuileries and the Seine, and thought to yourself, man, this tunnel is dark and depressing and maybe a little scary? Well, that's all about to change. From now through July 24th, a dozen street artists will be in residence to transform the space into something bright and beautiful and inspired by our fair city. Since 2016, this 860-meter-long tunnel has been reserved for pedestrians, cyclists, and scooter owners. Scootist? In an effort to help these soft mobilists get back and forth to the Champs-Élysées without traffic jams and with fewer dangers. Yet, the space is dark, its blackened walls lit only by pale lamps and decorated with old, broken ventilation turbines. So now 12 street artists are charged with bringing color and light to the Tuileries Tunnel along Voie Georges Pompidou, using their immediate surroundings, the Seine, the Louvre, and the Jardin des Tuileries as inspiration. This work of art will be on display until July of 2023 and is free to admire. If you like to read, and you like the outdoors, might I entice you with the literary festival Bibliothèque hors les murs, or Libraries Beyond the Walls. From now through the end of August, in 40 Parisian green spaces, including parks, squares, public gardens, and Paris Plage, at least once a week, you'll find various pop-up libraries throughout the city. Librarians will bring floor mats for children to sit comfortably on, as well as picture books, fairy tales, and other stories to read, leaf through, or listen to. In addition to all this, you'll find screenings, readings, workshops, and board games. Bibliothèque hors les murs runs from now through August 31st, and more information, including the full program, can be found at bibliothèque.paris.fr. That's bibliothequeus.paris.fr. Did you know that Tuesday, July 19th is International Castles Day? Well, you do now. And lucky for us, Paris and Île-de-France are home to some of the most beautiful castles in France. Here is some of what you can see on the 19th and beyond. First, just at the edge of our City of Light is the Château de Vincennes, which, along with the Louvre, is one of the most important castles in the history of France. It's also one of the largest and best preserved fortified castles in Europe. In addition to the standard visit, you can also visit the usually closed floors of the keep and its summit terrace, and learn about its 1,000-year-long history. You can also climb to the top of the Sainte-Chapelle of the Château de Vincennes and visit the exhibit La sorcière, le buffon, les sentinelles, le fantôme, et la princesse. Or The Witch, the Buffoon, the Sentinels, the Ghost, and the Princess, created by the students of the Beaux-Arts de Paris. Or take part in the theatrical stroll Henri V, un roi anglais à Vincennes, or Henry V, an English king at Vincennes, and walk in Henry V's footsteps on the 600th anniversary of his death, led by the actors of the Six Mystères Bouffe troupe. Slightly farther afield, but much better known, is the Château de Versailles. And although we never need an excuse to visit Versailles, which holds the record for being the largest castle in the world and the most visited in France, summer is particularly spectacular, thanks to les grands eaux musicales and les jardins musicaux, the musical fountains and gardens display. At nightfall, musicians and technicians come together to bring Louis XIV's evenings back to life with large, luminous water jets and fireworks. At the moment, you can also enjoy La Sérénade Royale. The Royal Serenade is an experience that brings us into the court of the Sun King by immersing us in the leisure activities of the time. I talked about this in a previous episode last season. You'll find historical scenes with Baroque dancers, sword fights, and theater sketches in the Royal Chapel, the Hall of Mirrors, the grand apartments of the King and Queen, and the Royal Court. There's a reason that the Palace of Versailles, its gardens, and domain are part of the World Heritage of Humanity. If you're willing to go a little further, but still remain in Ile-de-France, you can check out the Château de Breteuil, known for its expansive gardens and fairy tales, or the Château de Vers-sur-Oise, known for its collection of Impressionist paintings. The Château de Breteuil is an 18th century castle located in Choiseul in Yvelines. Inside the castle, 50 wax figures made by the Graffiti Museum will help reenact the daily life of a family in the heart of the history of France. Animated representations of 8 of Perrault's tales are presented in the outbuildings, including Sleeping Beauty, Bluebeard, and Puss in Boots. Outside, the 75-hectare park includes French gardens with a water mirror, an exceptional mosaic of boxwood extending over nearly 150 meters, an English-style garden classified as a remarkable garden with a beautiful arched pathway of irises, roses, and shrubs, Italian-style terraces built in the 18th century, a watering basin, cherry blossoms, a forest with 2 romantic ponds, and a maze made with 1,000 box trees. In addition, you can take part in a 90-minute escape game in the rooms on the second floor of the castle every Wednesday and Saturday. In the heart of the village Auvers-sur-Oise, the Château d'Auvers is a 17th and 18th century castle with a landscape that has inspired many Impressionist and Post-Impressionist painters, like Pissarro, Cézanne, and Van Gogh. The Château d'Auvers exhibits a selection of paintings from the second half of the 19th century, with around 30 works by artists who have chosen this unique area as a source of inspiration. Towards the end of the exhibit, you'll find the works of Impressionists in conversation with more contemporary artists like Kandinsky, Rothko, and Joan Mitchell. There's also an immersive exhibit, a parcours called Vision Impressionniste, Impressionist Vision, reminiscent of the Ateliers de Lumière. It's a 600 square meter sound and light journey with video mapping, projections, and giant screens in which to stroll around projected works of Manet, Monet, Pissarro, Degas, Cézanne, and more. In addition, there are workshops, guided visits, and the temporary exhibit, The Secret Gardens of Théophile Alexandre Stanlin, from Montmartre to the Oise Valley. Outside, you'll find a 9-hectare estate made up of a wooded park and gardens inspired by Italian Renaissance, French, and English gardens, as well as only one of a dozen nymphaeum remaining in France due to the extreme fragility of their decoration. Tuesday, July 19th is International Castles Day, but the festivities extend well beyond just one Tuesday. For more information on the Château de Vincennes, please visit chateau-de-vincennes.fr. That's chateau-de-vincennes.fr. For the Château de Versailles, please visit chateauversailles.fr. That's chateauversailles.fr. For the Château de Breteuil, please visit breteuil.fr. That's breteuil.fr. And for the Château d'Auvers, please visit chateau-auvers.fr. That's chateau-ouvers.fr. This year marks the 200th anniversary of the Canal de Louvre, making it less than 50 years younger than the United States of America. How's that for perspective? But I digress. As part of the Été du Canal festival I mentioned in last week's episode, on Wednesday, July 20th, and again on Saturday, July 30th, and Sunday, August 14th, you're invited to go kayaking on the Canal de Louvre. You'll kayak around 15 kilometers between Clé-Suy and Sévrin for about 4 hours. You can choose either a single or 2-seater kayak, and the whole group will be supervised by a facilitator who will regale you with stories of the places you pass. Please note, you must have the physical fortitude for an excursion like this, and places are limited. Rando Kayak is organized by the Urk Canoë Club Sévrenais and will take place beginning at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, July 20th, on Saturday, July 30th, and on Sunday, August 14th. Tickets are €23, and more information can be found at exploreparis.com. One of my favorite Parisian events of the year begins on Wednesday, July 20th, the Outdoor Film Festival at Parc de la Villette. A giant screen will be inflated on the huge triangle long at Parc de la Villette, and once the sun goes down, some of your favorite films will be projected for you to enjoy while you picnic and the sky fills with stars. This year's theme is Alors on danse, and you'll have the chance to watch dance-related films like Flashdance, Pulp Fiction, Les Demoiselles de Rochefort, Black Swan, Eyes Wide Shut, and West Side Story. All films are screened in the original version with French subtitles. You can access the Triangle Lawn beginning at 8 p.m. Screenings will begin somewhere between 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. depending on nightfall and the film being shown. You can lay a picnic blanket on the lawn or rent a deck chair for a small fee. Please keep in mind that glass bottles and corkscrews are not permitted inside the park. If you've seen my bonus video on Pop Air and Parc de la Villette, you already know my secret tip for ensuring cold rosé or white wine throughout the evening. And if you haven't, head over to Patreon for the inside scoop. Cinéma en plein air 2022 will be held on the Triangle Lawn of the Parc de la Villette from Wednesday to Sunday, July 20th to August 21st. Access is free upon registration. More information, including the full film lineup, can be found at lavillette.com. That's LAVILLETTE.com. Are you as obsessed with French food, wine, and cheese as I am? If so, you may be interested in the Terroir podcast. Hosts culinary journalist Emily Monaco and chef and wine expert Caroline Connor explore the links between the foods, wines, and more to the places they're from and the people who make them. Listen now to the Terroir podcast on ParisUndergroundRadio.com or wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be right back with Don't Miss This after a word from our sponsors. And now, back to Don't Miss This. Okay, so at this point, you've understood that I love an open-air cinema. But how do you feel about open-air concerts? Beginning on Thursday, July 21st, you can have Trois Beaux Days, or Three Beautiful Jours, at the Arène de Montmartre. This 3-day music festival, organized by the concert hall Les Trois Beaux Days, will feature music by Aulé, Ian Caulfield, Moussa, Gabby Hartman, and more in a unique and historic setting. Trois Beaux Days will be at the Arène de Montmartre from Thursday, July 21st to Saturday, July 23rd. Tickets are €15, and more information, including ticketing, can be found at lestroisbaudets.com. That's LESTROISBAUDETS.com. Okay, fine. I do have one more open-air film festival for you this week. But believe me, this one is not like the others. For this, I want you to close your eyes. Now, picture this. Imagine yourself sitting comfortably outside on a deck chair. You're not at a beach, though. You're on the tarmac at an airport. In fact, you're at Le Bourget Airport. And before you is a masterpiece of cinema projected on the cabin of a Boeing 747. Now open your eyes and get ready to make that dream a reality with Ciné Tarmac. For 4 idyllic evenings, the Air and Space Museum has put together a film festival like no other. Beginning at 6 p.m., you'll be welcomed into the Musée de l'Air et de l'Espace du Bourget to take part in special activities planned especially for the occasion. Rumor has it that these include immersion in the cockpit of a 1960s fighter plane, astro fitness, and an introduction to lightsabers. Okay, then at nightfall, you'll head to the tarmac, where those deck chairs quietly await you. Make yourself comfortable, arm yourself with popcorn, and marvel at the masterpieces projected on the side of the airplane. After the film, there will be a free shuttle back to Gare du Nord. Can you imagine the theme of the 4 films on offer? They are Spaceballs, which translates as La folle histoire de l'espace, or the crazy history of space. Doesn't quite have the same ring as Spaceballs, but I digress again. Back to the Future, Sully, and The Wind Rises. Ciné Tarmac will be held at Le Bourget Airport on July 22nd and 23rd, and then again on August 26th and 27th. Admission is free for those under 26, and €16 for everyone else. Tickets can be purchased on site, but a ticket office is also available if you'd like to purchase your tickets in advance. The ticket office should be open soon. For more information, please visit musée-air-espace.fr. That's musée-air-espace.fr.
Well, that's it for this week's roundup of Don't Miss This. For more great content, including a look behind the scenes, videos from Paris, a book club, and exclusive events, please join me on Patreon at patreon.com/Paris Underground Radio. If you enjoyed this roundup, please tell a friend. If you venture out to any of the events mentioned in this podcast, please let me know and tag Paris Underground Radio on Facebook or Instagram. And if you think you have an event we should know about, please feel free to email me at hello@parisundergroundradio.com with the subject line, Don't Miss This. I'm your host, Jennifer Garrity. You can find me on all socials at Jennyphoria. That's JennyPhoria. Don't Miss This is produced by me for Paris Underground Radio. For more on Don't Miss This and shows like it, please go to parisundergroundradio.com. Thank you so much for listening and happy exploring! Don't Miss This is produced by Jennifer Garrity for Paris Underground Radio. For more on this show and shows like it, please go to parisundergroundradio.com.